the streets of every village, every city's soaring tower, empty people live in darkness, every minute, every hour. Hear the cry of desperation from a billion broken hearts, with a need so great, where do we even start? Let it start with me. Open up my eyes, fill my heart with your compassion, free my mind from all distractions, use my hands to set the captive free, move my feet to follow after you, Lord, change the world and let it start with me. The orders, there's a place for everyone. I don't want to miss my mission in the plan that you've begun. You've promised to go with me to the edges of it all, and change everything that keeps me from your call. Let it start with me. Open up my eyes, fill my heart with your compassion, free my mind from all distractions, use my hands to set the captive free, move my feet to follow after you, Lord, change the world and let it start with me. Take my life, all that I have called my own, everything I am is yours alone. Let it start with me. Open up my eyes, fill my heart with your compassion, free my mind from all distractions, use my hands to set the captive free, move my feet to follow after you, Lord, change the world and let it start with me. Open up my eyes, fill my heart with your compassion, free my mind from all distraction, use my hands to set the captive free, move my feet to follow after you, Lord, change the world and let it start with me.
Okay, let us pray. Lord, we ask your blessing upon this gathering and the food we share as we celebrate Mom, Grammy, Great Grammy, otherwise known as Nora Gillis. We give thanks for the happy days we shared, the stories that still make us smile, and the enduring love that time can never erase. Bless our family with deep comfort and strength, and let the warmth of our shared memories bring peace to our souls. As we look around this room, we see a reflection in the lives of the family she cherished and the inspiration she gave us. We chose today to focus on the joy she brought into the world. We remembered today a life well lived, a wisdom well shared, and a family well loved. May her spirit rest in absolute peace, and may her memory continue to guide and comfort us always. Amen.
Get fixed or anything needs to be fixed. Our next activity has a couple of volunteers, Kaity and Aurelia. You want to get your dishes. We're borrowing from the Lakota Sioux, an Indian tradition. And Mom was a real rock hound. And some of us have a little Indian DNA. So it's entirely appropriate for us to pick a rock. I mean, if you don't want to speak, you don't have to, but you will pick a rock from one vessel and you will speak a short memory. Something she said to you, something she helped you to understand, something you watched her do, Just a quick, like a flash that comes in your memory about Grammy, Mom. And the girls have volunteered to do this. So they will take the dish around to you, and some of you have selected rocks to bring. When this is finished, what happens is they are going to pick a rock to keep that holds all the memories. And then Keely and Dale have volunteered to finish, because the Lakota took their rocks and put them in moving water to just spread the memories. And Keely and Dale have volunteered to put the rocks in the ocean to finish the activity. That will be later. So girls, do your thing.
I'll pretend I picked it out, but I brought it with me. This is a heart-shaped rock.
Oh.
Can I get up there and talk?
Oh, you said a short thing. I got something to say, but it's a little longer.
Yeah, there are
Times for that. Yeah, this is a short one.
They're going to be longer speakers.
I can't film you unless you go up there.
Speaking of rocks, Mom did not go anywhere without bringing home a rock that she liked from either a beach or a place. And this just reminds me of her because it's a perfect heart. And so I'll put it in the discarded one.
Let me think of something real quick. There's so many things. One thing I love doing with Grammy is we used to go outside all the time because she loved to be outside, and we'd walk up on the hill, and she always tended to her garden, and I'm like, whose garden is that? And she's like, that's Earle's garden. And I said, but Uncle Earle's been out of the house for like 100 years, Grammy. Well, I'm just looking after it for him. I'm just looking after it for him, you know. I would pick berries, blueberries, and she would make the most amazing like blueberry cake and strawberry rhubarb pie, and that's how she ate. She ate from the garden, and I think that had a lot to do with her longevity. I mean, and I did learn a lot about nutrition from her and being outside, so.
My memory is just before my wedding, Mom took me aside and told me that I was always welcome to come home if I wanted to.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Not advice.
Yeah. I think she was afraid since I was going to Arizona I'd be stranded if I didn't like it. So it was funny. But it worked, because when we moved back from Arizona, Mom welcomed me home because Dick had to work in Fort Fairfield. We had no place to live. I had no job. Then I did find a place to go up there to be with my husband, but I couldn't take my dog. So Grammy took my dog. And then when we finally got back to Woodland, we were with her so much till our house was built, because I moved out to let the landlord have the apartment, and our house wasn't finished. But she always welcomed me home, as she welcomed all of us home. We always could depend on Grammy. She loved her family.
I don't really have anything in any particular order. I want to say I loved Thanksgivings. Looked forward to them every year. And that was totally Grammy. Absolutely, Meridith, no problem. I just really looked forward to Thanksgivings every year because I knew I'd see everybody. And Grammy just made that so special. Another memory I have is, Keely, you probably don't remember this. I might have been in 6th or 7th grade, but I know, because you guys were living in Woodland at the time, and Grammy had Mom and Dad and I, Keely, you guys over for dinner, and I think she made you guys turkey pot pie or chicken pot pie, and she made Keely and I a pizza. And she said she ran, because she knew we wouldn't want to eat that, she ran out of pizza sauce or didn't have any, so she made it with ketchup. And I remember biting into it, and I was like, "Oh, what is ketchup?" Like, she just said it so nonchalant. Keely and I are like, but that was Grammy. She just pivoted and did whatever she could. She's so awesome. And then just like her laugh, oh my gosh, when she'd get laughing or giggling, it was just so infectious. She'd have these like belly laughs, and it was just, I loved her laugh. Where do I?
Leslie?
Yes.
to know if that was the start of the ketchup group.
Your obsession with ketchup.
Oh, I was well into my ketchup craze at that point. Yeah.
Which is probably why she thought it would go over.
I think so, probably. It made sense, yeah.
Exactly.
Totally made sense.
So one of my favorite memories is similar to her longevity on eating habits. So I lived with them for one summer, and she obviously cooked for me a lot. She could use that George Foreman grill like no other person. So that's
awesome.
Mine is a short one, but most of the time, every time I see like poppy flowers, that's usually what I think of. And I remember every summer when they grew and after they shriveled up and made the little ball that you can crush them and make the seeds with, I would go over and do that every summer at the end. And that was my favorite thing to do.
So, there isn't a day goes by that I don't think about her. And me too, it's Thanksgiving. So when Meridith was a senior in high school, she was bound and determined she was going to Woodland for Thanksgiving. I had to work on that Friday, so they left me home. She and Art went to Woodland in a snowstorm, but she had her Thanksgiving with Grammy. I have a rock from Spain and some sea glass from Spain. Which one is this?
Great one.
We have a theme here. Apparently Thanksgiving was a big, well, it was the year end. The last time we headed down east, 4.5 hour drive even from Scarborough. And the good old airline, which everybody that ever in Calais and or Woodland knows what the old airline was like. And we'd spend our last trip down east on Thanksgiving. And of course, before we headed back home on that long 4.5 hour trip, Nora made sure the girls were packed full of food. And I'm thinking, you know, where between Woodland and Bangor am I going to be stopping and having the girls get rid of their treats on the way home? But again, food seems to be the theme and the basis. She's a great cook. She enjoyed doing it. And that's one of my memories is the trip across the airline and where I was going to stop for the girls to relieve their...
All right. I have a rock that I found on Swans Island this summer. So my memory, I mean, a lot of things that everybody's been saying, the Thanksgivings. Whenever I think about Grammy now and remember her, I hear her laugh. It's the thing in my head that I think of with Grammy, and often that came with this crowd, and it was just the dynamic of all of us being together in that kitchen, often because of Thanksgiving, and just the shenanigans and the laughter in that house. And I remember sitting in the yellow chair in the kitchen and having that really special warmth with our family, and that chair sits in my kitchen now. Yeah, that's my memory.
I got this rock on Swans Island, and I think it looks like a bird egg.
And how's that connected?
Oh, she liked birds.
I actually have this. We had homework when we went to Swans Island, if you can tell. But it was really helpful. And I really dig this whole idea of the rocks holding memory. I'm a subscriber to this idea. This came from Gooseberry Island, which is a trip that Meridith and I took away from the island in kayaks just a couple weeks ago. And when we're on the island, it's just a barren circle. There are turns, And the terns were really not happy with us walking the perimeter of the island because they had nests in the middle, and they were really protective. So I thought this would be cool to add to Nora's memory because she was so protective of all of you.
So, oh, right. Okay. I don't know if I should be concerned. Meredith asked me where I got this rock, and I can't remember. It was like a month ago, and I don't remember, but I remember seeing it and thinking that this is the rock I wanted to bring to put Grammy's memory in. My memory is one Christmas when the kids were little, Grammy came down and spent it with us in Scarborough, and my mom decided we all would have matching penguin pajamas. And so Christmas Day, she wanted a picture of everybody in the penguin pajamas. And we couldn't find Grammy. We said, oh, maybe she's in the bathroom, and where's Grammy? Should we be worried? She came out, hair done, lipstick on, pajamas off, in regular clothes. She was not getting her picture taken in pajamas, thank you very much. But she showed us all, she was, as we can see from all of these pictures, her hair was never out of place, lipstick was on, she always presented, even if she was in the garden, she looked put together and just beautiful, and just remember that.
Me and Grammy would always kind of send letters and then coloring pages to each other. So I remember when I used to get, during COVID, I would send cards with all my friends and I'd make sure to keep them. But I remember I would always keep Grammys in a specific place, apart from theirs, because they were a lot more special to me. And there was this one I remember that she had, because it was usually just ones that she'd colored from coloring pages and then letters, but there was one that she had hand-drawn for me specifically. So this rock, I think, is just from Spain, but I just wanted to use it.
So my rock memory is, I've got more memories to go through later, but I think this memory is the actual picking of the rocks, because we did it a lot together. We would take special trips down to Red Beach or down on the coast somewhere to get to a shore, and she and I would pick rocks until my pockets were ready to bust. And we had a pail that was too heavy to carry back to the car, but she loved doing it. I love doing it with her. I still do it. We do it together now, but yeah, that's the memory.
So, Nora and I both loved china teacups with flowers and decor on them. She had quite a collection, and I had a little bit of a collection at first, and now I have some of her collection, and she loved tea, I love tea, and now my oldest granddaughter, Elena, when they stay over our house, she gets up early, I get up early, we meet in the kitchen, and we have tea with cups, and she picks out which one she wants. This is from Nova Scotia.
Grammy always treated me great, and I was married into the family, and she's never treated me different. Neither have any of you. I've always felt very loved, and I appreciate that. And a funny story, I know Jen was there. I'm not sure if Mom was there. Roughly the time, I don't know what year you graduated, Uncle Earle. Around that time-ish. The late 1900s, if you will. We went to Calais, and there was a group of us in the old station wagon. I believe it was. I remember riding in the back of it, and she had free coupons to get Whoppers. And we went into McDonald's and to get these free Whoppers. And she wanted the Whoppers, and no, I'm not. I have this coupon, and the guy was trying to explain to her why you can't get the free Whopper, and I don't know what. He eventually gave her just a whole bunch of stuff and said, "Here," and it was buy one get one free. So she goes, "Well, I want to pay," and he's like, "No, just take it." And I know Jen was there. I don't remember who else was there, and we were probably 20 minutes out when it hit her. oh my goodness, that was McDonald's. This is the Burger King. And it was uncontrollable laughter, and I just remember the laugh. I remember the laugh and the time, so that's a memory I'll always remember.
If I could add on to that
Kicking
one.
rocks at Robinson boat ramp, and she lost her glasses. That's it.
But she
Did
was
you
home
find
with
him?
rocks, right?
I don't think so.
I found this rock on Swan Island, like literally everyone else who went there went to me. And I really liked it because it has two colors, like it's two rocks smushed together. And I like that Grammy she was always really nice. And I remember we would go out in her garden at the old people home. And I really liked whenever we went there on the way to Swan's Island when we went there.
Perfect. All right, I'll do one then for Grammy. So my favorite memory, obviously not from around here. I only come once a year to see everyone. But we always would take a little girls' trip. So it'd be me, my mom, Aunt Leslie, Gabby, Nana, and Grammy. And every time we'd get there, you'd get all those girls together, and Grammy would just be hooting and hollering with us. I would hear some things I never thought would come out of that poor woman's mouth. But definitely gonna miss those little girls' trips with her. One of my favorites is we were on our way, not sure where. I think Nana was giving us directions, and we turned the wrong way. Grammy was about ready to lose it. She was laughing so hard. She was having a blast, just going to whatever destination we were going to, but we were all together having a good time with her. So yeah.
First, I want to thank my sisters for a beautiful job today, what they did to prepare for this. Beverly and Elena. Wait a minute, Cindy, hold on.
We'll bring them up.
We would also like to thank Kaity and her wonderful staff for a delicious meal and all of those wonderful meals. As I said, it's the best pesto I've ever had, ever.
Taylor and Chris.
Taylor and Chris, thank you so much. You did a wonderful job on this. We are greatly appreciative. And what I want to say is I was thinking that I wanted to shoot from the hip, but not a good decision. So I typed out some things this morning, keep a little organized. 97 years is a long time when you think about it. If we all lived to be 97, wow, how many memories would we have? Or not. I'm beginning to get that feeling too, Vanessa. But Mom had a wonderful, rich, full life. She really, really, truly did when you think about her life. She was blessed every moment with love. She was never lonely, not even at the end. She was never lonely. She was never not loved, never rejected. And as, I don't know who it was that mentioned it, maybe Earle or someone, her legacy is us. You know, what we have from her that we carry on. And I'm not just talking about DNA, I'm talking about love. And the example that she had for all of us. We can all take something from her. She was resilient. Born and brought up during the Depression in a remote part of Nova Scotia, very remote. She was in the middle of 5. Others being all boys, she didn't have much of a chance to play with any girls. She had to be resilient, and those boys were toughigans, hooligans, ruffinarians. She was a great caregiver. She took care of many young children during her years of running a daycare. And usually the children who came to her were some of the most difficult to manage. I can tell you that because I was teacher to some of them. She did a wonderful job. She treated them just like they were her own. One mother would tell her son, "Brent, if you're not good, I'm going to tell Nora what you're doing." And that would usually get him back in shape, even if he wasn't at Mom's daycare, whether he was in school or not. And she would give him $1 a week if she got a good report from Nora and me, his 3rd grade teacher. Didn't make much money. This mother also gave, I just said $1 a week, okay. Another boy had quite an imagination when he came over to Nora's. He would instantaneously, upon arrival, run through the house, making sounds like a loud engine. And I can hear her saying, "Kyle, you take that motorcycle outside." And that would be Jenny's cousin Kyle. Mom was a seamstress as well. A shirt that needed a button, a pair of pants that needed hemming, a dress that needed a zipper, a torn coat would always be welcome on her sewing table. She was good at making clothes from scratch, if you will. In her later years, she made her own pajamas. She liked flannel. She had flannel pajamas that she made. Some of them had cardinals on all of them. Mom loved to garden. Throughout her life, there was always something growing in the ground because of her hands. She planted vegetables, flowers, shrubs, and many trees near her property. And when she moved to Bangor, she and Carl managed the beautiful gardens out in back of Solstice that everybody got to enjoy by looking out their back windows. She loved birds. She didn't love squirrels or pigeons, but she loved all the other birds. And she fed them consistently. She would sit in her recliner near the window and watch her daily visitors flit in and out of the window feeder that Julia got her, in the mornings and again in the evenings. She especially loved cardinals and hummingbirds. And I see cardinals now, I think of Grammy. The day after Grammy passed, I had one of the first cardinals in my yard. No lie, no exaggeration. And since then, I've seen many cardinals in my yard. I could always count on Mom. She was one of the wisest people I have ever known. I'm not saying educated or a letter person beside her name or anything like that. But she was very wise. One of the most wisest people I've ever met. She could read people. She could look at you and read right through you. One time at a restaurant, she got this waitress that, have you ever had them? They kind of sing the menu to you. "Can I help you? Would you like some more water? What would you like to drink? Would you like onions or mushrooms on your steak?" And you know they're phony. She looked at me one time when I took her out, and that was going on with her and Carl, and she had a confused look that, this is what she'd do. She'd go, "What is she doing?" And then she'd look at me and she said, "I can't stand it when people put on piss pot airs." She could read people. I could always count on Mom telling me the truth, whether I wanted to hear it or not. Don't ask her her opinion because you're going to hear it.
Yeah.
Mom loved her children. She loved her grandchildren even more. They did no wrong. And she loved her great-grandchildren so much. Her apartment was covered with evidence of their love for her and her love for them. Sabela, I think of you in this situation because you sent her many pictures that you drew and colored, and they were all originals and Elias as well. The minute I opened them up, she'd look at them and then put that one here, put that one there, put that one over there, and we'd put them up with tape on the wall. She had many pictures of her family all over the place. And she had the pictures that Julia used to take of birds and stuff on this clothesline up over her coat closet, and she'd pin them with a clothespin. We are all evidence of her legacy. And Barbara, I think you are the one she always said, "Is that Barbara sending me something again?" Barbara's never forgot her birthday, never forgot a holiday or Christmas with my mom, never. And she'd say, I told them not to get me anything. I don't want them sending me anything. I'll open it now.
One of Granny's many great-grandchildren. Me and my family were only able to see her in the summer, so every year we always made sure to make an effort to visit her, even when she was in the hospital. But during the rest of the year, we were still able to keep in touch, and I felt like she always remembered me. For a few years, mainly during COVID and the summers, Grammy and I would exchange letters, coloring pages. She would often even send me stickers, including occasional postal stamps. I remember the day we found out about the news. I had known it was coming, but still didn't feel true. Felt like hoping for something you already knew wasn't happening, and I think a lot of people might be able to relate when I say it was like I was waiting for someone to pop out and say, April Fools, or for her to have just played a big prank on all of us. But in time, and after a couple of weeks, it was able to set in, and though they weren't the best weeks, just knowing the life she left behind and all the love she gave made it feel a little better. I mean, none of us would be here right now if it weren't for her and her love.
Amen.
I was listening to a song of Daniel O'Donnell, who is Grammy's favorite musical artist, and in his song Footsteps, he says a specific line that really stuck with me. The line says, "Footsteps walking with me, footsteps I cannot see, but every move I make and every step I take, I know they're there with me. They walk with me all the way, beside me day by day, through good and bad, through happy and sad, those footsteps won't go."
So when I was alive when she was around like 85, and I remember I would always visit her, and there'd be like this garden that was really stuck with me. And when me and Nana would visit, we would look in her room and she wouldn't be there, so we would have to check in the garden, and she would be there always with her boyfriend Carl, and they would always be growing some types of things like pumpkins, strawberries, all types of flowers, and I thought it was very memorable. And they had these like statues. I think it was like a deer, and I would always see it, and I would always like think it was real when I was younger, and it was so cute. And they'd have like wheelbarrows, and I was pretty close to her because I visit frequently in like February, summer, April, and sometimes earlier I would visit even more frequently. And I wrote a poem about it, so I'm gonna read it. Hands held intertwined, the garden's florals, impactful memories binded. Running around, casted like a portal, wish I could go back to the garden. Watched by generations of maternal eyes, what a beautiful sight that changed my life. Didn't want to depart, that sliced like a knife. Running around, rolling down hills, the deer in the wheelbarrow watched us play, memories that will never wash away. Because I would always bring like my friend over to come play.
I'm just going to mention right now, don't forget
Oh, sorry.
to leave with a couple of mementos. One is the poem and pictures of her in the Abbey, and then the other one is Mom's obituary and the 23rd Psalm that we said when we had her burial.
So, I wrote a few things down. I have to start off by the fact that I think I've been called every single one of her kids, including her sons. She's like, Cindy, no, Alane, no, Beverly, no, Earle, no, Russell. I'm like, Grammy, you know, the girls I can understand, but she's like, you know how we get older? Now I do that too, all the time. I have so many memories of Grammy. She was so special to me. I lived in Woodland, so I had more of an opportunity to see her more frequently. And Nick and I would go up on the hill during, you know, Christmas time, and we would slide down the hill, and we'd all laugh and giggle and have a great time. I have a memory when I was younger, Uncle Earle decided to let Grammy play Pac-Man. And he videotaped her, or like, you know, the sound. She was going, she's like, oh! You know how she does a little cackle? And we were laughing so hard, honest to God, her face was red, tears were coming down her face. It was hilarious, I remember that. And of course, Uncle Earle, you know how he used to tickle her, you know, and pick her up and all that. Let's see, I wrote this down because, you know, I winged it too. Let's see, we went through the wall for one. I came home and I said, Grammy, how's Kaity Lauer doing? You know, because she's next door. And, you know, unfortunately, Kay had cancer and she passed away. She goes, oh, she had cancer. She right followed it, went quick. And I went, Grammy, what did you say? She goes, and then she starts cackling after she says something like that because she knows she said it. Honest to God. Let's see. I had a lot of sleepovers with Grammy. And I'll tell you what, she took care of Grampy. Like every night she would lay out all his breakfast dishes, his paper, his tea, absolutely everything. And her and I would have a good time and she'd sleep right beside me. I just have so many memories, but one thing, this is something, and I don't want to get emotional or whatever about it, but there's a couple things. I remember one day, you know when you grow up with your parent, you have a different parent when you're growing up because they're disciplining you and you think, I don't understand my parent, why are they like this? And Mom, living in Bangor, had the opportunity to really get to know Grammy on a new level. Like, she said for the first time, she said, she's my best friend. They had so much fun together. I mean, Mom and her had so many laughs. I have a video of her hugging you. You really, and it's funny because now that I'm older too, I find myself understanding my mother, you know, that I didn't understand when I was growing up, but Mom had that opportunity. And I know Mom and Dad, you were the only ones there, but I don't want to get morbid, but if I could have the death that she had, it was so beautiful. She's sitting there and she asked Mom, she said, open the window. And Mom was like, Grammy, I mean, you're always cold. Why? Open it more. She opened it more and she left the window open. And she asked she had a red rose tea before she passed. It was probably like maybe a few minutes before she passed. She opened that window and I know damn well she was gonna just fly right the hell out of that window. But when she passed, she was holding Carl's hand. Dad was in there. Mom was there. Mom told her, you are the best mother that anyone could have ever had. Everyone in this room, we're here because of her, like her legacy. She was an amazing woman. They don't make people like that anymore. She was born in 1928 and came over to America by herself. And with Grampy, she was like on a first date, he stalked her. It was like a blind date. She goes, he never went away. So I just figured I'd marry him, you know? And she loved all of you, every single one of you. And she adored her grandchildren and great-grandchildren. So I guess I said I winged it, I'm sorry.
Yeah. She's on Zoom and you wouldn't be able to hear her if she spoke. So I'm speaking for her, but this is what she wrote. I will miss Grammy's laugh, and that's what I will always remember the most about her. Seeing that twinkle in her eye when she was up to something, and always happy to give you hugs and to see us. I learned to love the world through her, seeing her bird tea animals and the beautiful flowers she grew. She taught me how important family is, and also how important it was to laugh.
So my favorite memories of Grammy is when I got to go up in the summer for a week and have my grandparents to myself. And if I recall correctly, we would meet in Bangor, and then I would get to drive up in the Cadillac listening to Augie Myers the whole way to Woodland. And most of my memories, if we weren't outside in the garden helping her with that, would be in the kitchen. And we mentioned that several times, and that was the center of our whole family. And whether it was a sewing, we'd usually pick a sewing project to work on for the week, and then there would be pie baking, then there'd be pie eating late at night with some tea, which I never got to do at home, so that was always very exciting. And then Meridith, like mentioning the chair, it's so special now because I remember sitting in that chair with everybody coming from all over the country to spend Thanksgiving together. And now I get to sit in that chair in my sister's kitchen and coming from another part of the country to bring our families together. So I think those, we've all mentioned them many times, but those Thanksgivings were so special. We all come from all over, and yet people were able to get together. Grammy, you know, promised a delicious Thanksgiving meal, and we all showed up, right? And we got to spend time together, and it was always just constant laughter. Jenny and I trying to eat as many rolls in the kitchen as we could without anyone catching us. And then having my strawberry rhubarb pie that I would always get to eat after was really special too. So I'm so glad that we all could be together and remember this too. I feel like with such a big family, to still be so close emotionally, even if it's not physically, is a testament to her and the importance of family she put on us. So that's it.
One of the main things that Mom and Dad both wanted as we were growing up was for all of the family to stick together.
Yes.
There were periods, of course, like any family, when someone's not going to speak to someone, or someone's ticked off about something, and there were a few instances of years of not speaking. And I don't want to put it down to misunderstandings or quirks of personality or whatever, but even when Mom was in the nursing home, she wanted us all to stick together. And that's exactly what we've done here today.
Amen.
This would make her and Dad very, very happy to see us all together like this. So, dessert is ready. Are there any more bigger speakers wanting? Okay, good.
I got the list.
Oh, yeah. All right. And, okay, sure. Yeah. And after we're finished that, there's another step. I'll call it the giveaway, because some people haven't received their items. But
Just
it was neat.
as a relative outsider and only being able to participate in the last 20 years, 15 to 20 years, I just wanted to make the observation that she taught you all how to be doers, like in a deeply, deeply committed way. And I'm the benefit of that because, I mean, Meridith literally does everything. And I think that Nora literally did everything.
Yeah.
So that's remarkable, and you all have that, so cool.
So my sisters asked me to speak a little bit longer. I don't know how much longer I want to get, but I just made a list of memories that I was going to go through. Because I grew up at a time when I was kind of the only one in the house for a while, so Mom and I spent a lot of time together. We were pals for a lot of years, doing similar things. We had similar interests. We're both introverts. Didn't like really being in the crowd, but it was a unique time, and I think for her too. So I was going to go through a lot of the things I thought of. Some of them have already been mentioned, but I may add a little bit to them. So my first memories were when Mom was about 35, and I don't know why I don't have any memories before that, but actually she had me when she was 34. I remember being in the new house. So Dad just built a new house. I think when I was a year old, we moved into it, the yellow house, and the pictures here, on the Holton Road in Woodland. And it was such a, I don't want to say beautiful time, but it was a new time for her, I think, for them. They were finally getting their own place. I think this was the first place that they actually could call their own that they lived in. Maybe my sisters could correct me if I'm wrong on that, but yeah, they lived in my grandmother's block house in town before that. So this was their first house when they had me. And I just remember everything being new and clean, and new floors had been put down, and I was crawling around, and Mom was down at floor level with me, playing with me. I have memories of that, and it's a beautiful time to remember. But as I got a little older, I was allowed to write on the walls, because it just had, the whole house had been drywalled, but no paneling yet. And so I drew whole streets and towns, and she let me go to town with the crayons and the pencils. I drew people, I drew cars, you know, everything looked like a big balloon, but and they went right down the hall and into the little bathroom. And I'm sure those drawings are still there if the paneling's still there, because the paneling just covered them up. And I remember when they picked out the paneling. So we drove down towards Machias on Route 1 to some little store that had an outlet showroom, and they had stacks of paneling samples put together with one of those chains, and they were flipping through them, and they picked out paneling for the entire house that one day. There was different paneling for every room, different tree species, and a few weeks later the paneling arrived, the carpenters arrived, and the whole house got paneled. I can remember having milk delivered from Sadler's Farm on Route 9, cream on top, glass milk bottles, 6-pack of them. She would bring them. Sometimes we'd drive out and take the empties back. It just was an amazing time for them, I think, too, because she had this new freedom of, hey, the yard is mine and I can plant whatever I want. And so there was flowers everywhere around the house, and she had a flower garden up on the lawn. And we used to sit and look at the seed catalogs and pick out the seeds to what she was going to plant next. And she had hollyhocks out back by the little bathroom window. And we planted hollyhocks at home. Lisa planted them a few years ago. And they didn't come up. And guess what came up this year? Just a few weeks ago, they bloomed.
They're beautiful.
And they were just like hers. So the furniture we had in the house at first was the old furniture. I think it came from the apartment in town. And I remember a big green stuffed chair and a big maroon stuffed chair. And I never liked those chairs because they were like too big and kind of rickety and I don't know, maybe even a little smelly. I don't remember, they were pretty old. But every year we'd have the carnival in Woodland, and one year I went and I got brave enough to go on the tilt-a-whirl. And I always got car sick, so I never went on those kind of rides. And sure enough, I got off the tilt-a-whirl and threw up. So I went home from the carnival sick, and I remember I was probably too old to really be babied, but she babied me in that chair, that maroon chair that night, until I felt better. And just a memory I'll never forget. It was shortly after that we ditched those chairs, and I was kind of sorry to see it go then. I kind of had a new liking for that chair. But we went to Bangor. We went to Broadway Furniture in Bangor on Broadway, and this was a big day. They went up and they picked out furniture for the house and bought it all in one day and had it delivered. So I thought it was just amazing. I mean, a ton of new stuff came. I guess today, by today's standards, and anyone wouldn't think it's too big a deal, but they got a dining room hutch. The hutch was always sat in the dining room. That was new that day. And they got a chair and a sofa. And they got a coffee table and a commode, hard maple coffee table and commode. And I think she had a red rug in the living room. Eventually got replaced with a green one. But she was very protective of that stuff. She really taught me how to respect other people's things and how to treat things that people worked hard for, treat them well. And she was always very nervous about those things getting scratched. I think the sofa had plastic on the arms of it for like years afterwards. She didn't take the plastic off the arms of it for a long time. But eventually, you know, it got replaced, but it was cherished for a long time. And they just were very appreciative of their status of being able to afford and provide those things. I do remember damaging the dining room table. They were away on a trip, and I was building some model rockets and had the razor blades out.
Oh, God.
But she didn't kill me. I lived through it. She did value people over things for sure, but she did definitely teach me that. Mom and pets, that's an interesting topic. When I was probably about 5, we had a dog named Lady, and that dog had gone. But Cindy brought a cat home. Cindy worked at I think it was an ice cream shop, right, in town. And she got out of work, and some boys were throwing rocks at this cat. And so she wanted to save it, she brought it home. Well, we didn't dare tell Mom. Not right away, because Mom wasn't real keen on having pets, again, especially cats. Cats were not her favorite pet. But we took the cat up on the hill. Russell had a new LL Bean 2-person orange tent up there. It was already pitched, I think. And Cindy brought the cat home, and we took the cat and kept it up there, I think for a week, sneaking food up to it. And you couldn't pull the wool over her eyes for anything. I mean, she figured out what was going on. She saw us heading up over the hill with cat food or whatever. She got us and said, "What do you got up the hill?" You know? And so we had to own up to it. Of course, we got to keep it. So Diggy, Cindy wanted to name the cat Sabrina. We all vetoed that right away. So we went with the word that I was using to try to say cat or kitty was Diggy. And so the cat got named Diggy after that word that I used. But Diggy outlasted me at home. I mean, Mom, all the responsibility kind of fell back on her, even though she didn't like it that much. She didn't really pet the cat, didn't really have it on her lap, but she took care of that cat for years and cleaned up after it. And it wasn't an easy cat. It was an outdoor cat. It brought a lot of dirt in, and it had fleas, and it had kidney infections because it would get cold in the winter being outside, and did messes in the corners when she had the kidney infections, and we'd have to put newspapers down. And you know, Mom had her hands full with that cat, but she cared for that cat past the time I went to college. And I was like 4 or 5 when we got her. So Mom loved animals, even though she didn't always want them close to her. She couldn't stand to see anything suffer. So that was Diggy. And of course, I always teased her about getting more cats afterwards. When she'd visit us, I'd try to bring the cats around, see if she'd want to pet them, and she'd say, "No, that's okay."
Yeah, she'd visit us, and we had like 3 cats, and she'd be like, "You don't let them on the counter, do you?" No.